Alright guys, Voodoo 51292 here, and this is part 2 of the Dead Space 2 official game review. This is part 2. If you have not viewed part 1, please go view that now, before you watch this video. In the first part, we talked about all the pros of the Dead Space 2 campaign for 15 minutes. We had talked about how Visceral addressed all of the cons from the first game. They addressed them and turned them into pros in this game, okay? So now, we're going to talk about the cons of the Dead Space 2 campaign. And this is going to be short and sweet, because I don't really have any, okay? And I'm being completely serious. The only thing I can squeeze out as far as cons would be that at the end of the game, you're a little bit confused about what happens. Okay, you're a little bit confused, I think, once the game completely ends, about what the whole point was and what really happened. I'm still a little bit confused, but I think maybe they left it that way for a Dead Space 3. Okay, so I don't know. That's the only possible con I can squeeze out about the Dead Space 2 campaign. Okay, and I'm being serious. I'm not just blowing it up, because, as you know, these things are honest, and that's my honest opinion. If you'll excuse me for a second, I gotta get a sip of drink here. My throat is starting to go dry on me. Alright, so, moving on now to the Dead Space 2 multiplayer. Alright, which is basically, it's a new addition to the Dead Space franchise. I've never had multiplayer before, obviously. This is just the second one, so no big deal. But let me basically give you the scoop on what the multiplayer is in this game that you can expect. It's basically it's a team objective based multiplayer. There's only one mode, that's it. There's a couple of different maps, alright? Basically the way it's set up is you take turns. There's 2 rounds. In one turn, you play as the human team, and the other round you play as the necromorph team. It's just kind of random which one you play first and such, alright? And basically, as the human team, you're given a set of objectives, okay? And you have to go complete this objective. It may be destroy this component, or go collect this piece of thing and bring it here, alright? And it's a set. You know, you pick this up, now you gotta bring it over here. Now you gotta do something else and something else. And there's a series of objectives for you to complete, alright? And basically, you're armed with guns. You know, you've got 2 guns, plasma cutter and pulse rifle you start out with. As you level up, you get more. And you just basically go around and try to do these objectives. Now, the other team of players are necromorphs, okay, and they've got player control necromorphs, and they also generate AI necromorphs. All right, and obviously the AI ones are weak, are pretty weak, and then the player control necromorphs are pretty tough to kill. And basically, as you play as a necromorph team, your job is to basically stop the humans from completing their objective. So you're basically just running around killing as many humans as you can, and it's pretty cool. When you play as a necromorph, you can choose 4. You can choose, well, I'm not going to go into the ones you can choose. You can choose the normal one, you know, with the things. You can choose a couple of babies, and the 2 babies, and you can control the vomit one. You know, just to give you an overview. Those are the 4 you can pick, and every time you spawn, you can pick a different one. So it's not like you have to pick one at the beginning of the round and then stick with that one the whole time. Every time you die, you can pick a new one to respawn as, which is pretty cool. And they all have like melee and long-range attacks you can do. They have these things called executions, where basically you can, I think, jump and hit attack or something at the same time. And if you land it, you go into like a tap sequence, like in the single player when they're on your face and everything. And basically, it's a tap war between you, the necromorph, and the other guy who's controlling the human, and whoever wins the tap, you know, basically wins and executes the other one in, you know, kind of that cutscene. And of course, if you're attacking a human with full health, you're gonna die as the necromorph, because you're weaker naturally than the human. So you need to attack a human that's like kind of low in health, and then tap and beat him at that, and you'll win. So it's pretty cool. And basically that's it. I mean, that's pretty much the way it is. The pros, it's pretty fun, to be honest, at points. You know, you're running around, you're trying to do these objectives and stuff, and fighting all these crazy necromorphs, and doing all this stuff, and it gets pretty fun. At times, it really is. Kind of a general pro there, but as we delve into the cons of the multiplayer, it's going to get a little bit more specific, alright? I'm disappointed that they don't have any other modes. Okay, I thought Team Deathmatch would be a really cool thing to have in this game as the two different teams and just racking up kills, alright? Kind of level out the, make the Necromorphs almost the same as the humans, and that way, you can do a real Team Deathmatch, which I think would be cool. Or different modes or something like that. I'm kind of disappointed that's the only mode. Resistance 2 had team-based multiplayer, but they also had Team Deathmatch and all the normal ones. But this one only has one mode. Okay, another con is there's friendly fire in this game. Now, I don't necessarily mind that, but in this multiplayer, it's kind of stupid, okay? Because this multiplayer gets insane, alright? Because you've got humans and Necromorphs and everything is going all over the place. Necromorphs are attacking you from all four directions. Are all over you. They're doing executions on your teammates and stuff. And you're trying to fire around and just kill all these Necromorphs. It's almost impossible not to kill your own team. And you can do it as the Necromorphs, too. And you lose massive points for killing somebody of your own team. And I think it's just stupid to have this really hectic multiplayer with all this stuff going on, but there's friendly fire. And it's like, nobody is trying to not friendly fire. Like, you're trying, but it's going to happen. Because this multiplayer gets insane. And, if you watch some of my multiplayer footage up, you'll know that there's one part where I'm getting executed by a Necromorph from the front. My teammate's behind me. He's trying to shoot through me to kill the Necromorph in front of me, and all he does is shoot and kills me. He shoots me right in the back and I die. So that's kind of stupid, and I don't understand why they put friendly fire in the game. It's not necessary, and, it kind of hurts the experience to an extent, alright? Another thing is like, it's objective based, but this multiplayer gets so insane that a lot of times the human team, and I was guilty of this at points, you're not even thinking about the objective because you're spawning and there's so much going on. You're just worried about killing stuff in front of you, and you're just trying to stay alive, and the objective's really not in your mind when you're playing, and it tends to get lost, and the whole point of the game tends to get lost because the battles are so insane that you tend to forget what you're really trying to do. Alright, and another thing about this multiplayer, don't expect this to be a really addictive multiplayer, okay? It's not one of those ones you're going to sit there and play and level all the way up, because A, it's just one mode and you're going to get sick of it, okay? B, the level up bonuses are not that great, okay? I can't speak about what you get as the really high levels, but because I got to like level 11 or 12 or something and haven't played since, but you get like different colored armor and a couple of different guns, but I mean, you start out with like the top two anyway, the plasma cutter and the pulse round. I don't know if you get anything like perks or anything else. I saw no indication that you got anything like that. So the level up bonuses really aren't anything that you would desire that much to go out and level up and grind and all this stuff. There's one mode, you're going to get sick of it. So don't expect to be sitting there and playing this for days and days and days, okay? It's one of those things where it's pretty cool, you play it for a couple of days, have your fun, and then that's, it's kind of it. So final verdict on the multiplayer, it's a good idea. I like the idea, but it obviously reflects the fact that this is Dead Space's first attempt at multiplayer, and it's a good idea, but when it's flushed out and comes to fruition, it's really not as great as it could be, but it definitely has the potential to improve, and maybe in a theoretical Dead Space 3, the multiplayer could be better. So that's my take on multiplayer. Let's check time again. Good Lord, we may have to break this into 3 parts because this review is so long. The review of Dead Space Extraction. I'm going to make this short and sweet. Basically, it's a rail shooter. Alright, if you enjoy rail shooters, you'll probably enjoy the game. Tyler and I played a little bit of it. It was alright. It's not the greatest thing in the world, okay? It's okay. I mean, I'm leaving it at that. There's really not much to say about it. It's really not that important to Dead Space 2, the game itself. It's just a cool little side item. Alright, if you like rail shooters, you can check it out. It is compatible with Move. I don't have Move. It's probably more fun with it. So if you like rail shooters, go check out Extraction. If not, then don't. It's really not essential, and it's really not worth too much terrible time on this review about really the game Dead Space 2. So to get this in 2 videos, I think we'll be able to do it. We're just going to wrap up here. We're going to talk about tips and my final rating. The tips for the game, as far as campaign, basically, my tip is buy the different weapons, because I think you're going to find it's really important to buy the weapons, and it's going to be an easier time to get through. Okay. Another thing is explore areas, because they like to hide power nodes and stuff in hidden areas in this game that they really didn't explore too much in Dead Space 1. There's a lot more hidden rooms and hidden areas in this game than there was in Dead Space 1. So make sure you look on the off-camera things, you know. Be sure to go check that out, because there's probably power nodes or something like that, alright? And another useful tip, use subtitles, okay? Because if you don't, you're not going to know what the hell's going on. It's hard to hear what people are saying in this game. It's tough to hear things sometimes, so use the subtitles so you know what's going on, alright? That's a good tip, alright? Wrapping up this very long game review, we finally come down to it. We've talked, basically about everything I could talk about this game. And now we're down to the rating, alright? And we do a quick time check. I got plenty of time to do this. So, basically a quick recap, the pros of this game, excellent job by Visceral Games. This may be, and I think it is at this point, the best example I've ever seen of a game company having a great first game, but having issues with the first game, and then actually listening to the gamers' opinions about what can be changed. They take it and completely fix it, alright? All the griefs I had about Dead Space 1 were fixed in Dead Space 2. I mean, even the minutest details about the anti-grav controls and the map and stuff like that, it was all fixed in this game, and it was excellently done by Visceral Games, alright? So, I give you an ovation. I thank you for listening to the gamers' opinions and actually fixing some of the problems that you had in the first game. Excellent job, and I commend you. Okay? The multiplayer, again, it's a good idea. It's fun for a couple of days. Don't expect to be hooked on this and playing this for days on end. Don't buy the game just for multiplayer, because you will be disappointed, alright? And Extraction is what it is. It's a rail shooter. If you have the move, it's probably pretty fun. If not, life goes on, alright? I'm going to take a quick sip here, and then we will wrap this up. Alright, so everything is finished. Come down to the rating, and I'm just going to say that this game has absolutely set the bar way up there for the rest of the games this year. There's a lot of great titles coming out this year, but Dead Space 2 has really set the bar high for them to beat it as Game of the Year, okay? And this game, as far as the campaign, is pretty much flawless. The only flaws I find are really in the multiplayer and things like that. Okay, which I can't fault them too much for. So at the end of the day, Dead Space 2 gets the incredible rating of a 9.6. Alright, that's what I'm giving Dead Space 2. Dock about 0.4 of a point off for the somewhat disappointing multiplayer in some areas, okay? But I can't even dock them a whole half point, so I'm going to dock them 0.4. So they get a 9.6 for Dead Space 2. Excellent game. If you haven't played Dead Space 1, you're new to this franchise, I encourage you to play Dead Space 1. If you haven't, oh well, go read what happens about Dead Space 1. They actually have a video on the main menu of Dead Space 2 that does a review for you of Dead Space 1. So if you're buying the game Dead Space 2 and you haven't played Dead Space 1, go look at that video, and it completely recaps everything that happened in Dead Space 1, and you can jump right in. If you've never been a part of this franchise, this game is the game to jump in. You watch that video recap of the first one, jump into this game, you will not be disappointed. An excellent game, a terrific way to start off the year, and that's my official review of Dead Space 2. I hope you guys found this informative and helpful, and if you did, please feel free to let me know, because I would absolutely be very happy if you guys let me know, hey, this was really useful and here's why, and I actually went and bought the game or such and such. So if it was helpful to people, I invite you to let me know, and invite you to let me know what I can do to make my game reviews even better in the future. So for now, this is Voodoo 51292. This was my official review of Dead Space 2, and until next time, I will see everyone later.